Peter 1, Peter 2.
Peter 2.
Peter 3.
Peter 3.
All right, let's do this.
Let's
Ready?
go.
Wait.
I love you guys. Thank you.
Multiple Spider-Men, multiversal stakes, and a soft reboot of everyone's friendly neighborhood wall crawler. Spider-Man No Way Home should have been the perfect send-off for the Tom Holland era of Peter Parker. Now, after years of Marvel missteps, we are eagerly awaiting the fourth installment with Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Because I'm not just Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man.
Can this movie live up to the memory of the numerous Spider-Man films that came before? Or will it just be another stumble in Marvel's trepidatious trek towards Doomsday? Well, only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the status quo for the beloved wall crawler is anything but straightforward.
Nice flowers.
Oh, they're a housewarming gift.
I'm MJ.
I'm just a neighbor from across the hall.
Friendly neighbor.
In the lead up to the release of Spider-Man No Way Home, everyone became very aware that Tom Holland had not signed on for more Spider-Man films after that point. There was a sense of finality to the tone of his press tour, so much so in fact that he literally told GQ, if I'm playing Spider-Man after 30, I've done something wrong. And yet, as you might have noticed, Holland will be 30 when the new film is released. So does that mean things are going poorly for everyone's favorite webhead?
Dude! I'm so sorry.
Dubbed Brand New Day after the 2000s era soft reboot of the character in the comics, this new film appears to be both a refresh of the status quo and a recommitment to what made Spider-Man work in the past. In the original 38 Steve Ditko issues of The Amazing Spider-Man, the drama and conflict of the character were mined by putting Peter Parker into a narrative vice. He was constantly attempting to thread the needle between taking care of Aunt May, fighting low-stakes urban crime, and having some sort of love life. He was pitted against the ultimate enemy, paying bills.
Could you pay me in advance?
You serious? Pay for what? Standing there?
Those themes and narrative conflicts were at the core of the Sam Raimi era of Spider-Man films. The MCU version of the character didn't lean into that aspect as much. They positioned him more as someone dealing with traditional teenage problems, not necessarily a character whose various aspects of his life were pulling him in multiple directions at once. Case in point, they literally didn't even give the MCU Peter his with great power moment until the third solo film with his sixth MCU appearance.
You have a gift. You have power, and with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
Brand New Day, much like the comic it's named after, is attempting to restore a more familiar status quo for the character. Money problems, a secret identity, and most importantly, a sad Peter Parker. The film will also be a soft adaptation of two comic book stories, Brand New Day and The Other. During The Other, published in 2006, Peter Parker died in a brutal fight with the vampire Morlun. He wakes up in a massive cocoon made from spiderwebs, only to discover that he now has a range of new abilities. He can see in the dark, he is significantly stronger, and he can bond on a molecular level with objects, and in the most unique adaptation, he can produce web organically, not through web shooters.
Go web! Fly!
While The Other was controversial when it was published originally, some fans found its motivation to be too transparent. Marvel brass wanted the comics version of Spidey to be more similar to his film counterpart. Since its publication, most of its contributions to continuity have been walked back, but the story has transitioned into being a fan favorite. It's kind of funny how that works. For this new movie, it's very clear that Destin Daniel Cretton and Marvel Studios are attempting to do similar things. They're trying to give some narrative conflict and drama back to the world of Spider-Man, as well as attempting to bring the stakes back down to earth a little bit. The doubly interesting facet of this prospect, though, is that by adapting The Other, the movies are now adapting the comics that were directly incorporating movie continuity. It's an adaptation of an adaptation of an adaptation. If that's as confusing as it seems, yeah, welcome to comics. It's a hell of a ride.
I am so confused right now.
One of the problems with long-running comic book series, they become about writers or artists mimicking and recreating the things that they loved when they were younger. How many times are we going to revisit Age of Apocalypse, or The Clone Saga, or Death of Dark Phoenix? It's mostly a nostalgia problem.
My back is kind of stiff from all the swinging, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, I got a middle back thing too.
Really?
And now that the movies are adapting The Other and Brand New Day, it just goes to show you how they're suffering from the same problems. Spider-Man's organic web shooters were highly controversial when they were first introduced in the movies and books. So when it came time to reboot the franchise, they walked that back. And now, here we are, walking that back to the original status quo because there's a nostalgia for it.
That came out of you.
Yeah. You can't do that, huh?
No?
How on earth does that even?
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Look.
This pendulum exists in all long-running franchises. How many times has James Bond been in space or fighting a global threat in one movie and then punching out drug runners the next? Because you're constantly trying to find a way to keep your characters human and to escalate and then de-escalate narrative believability. Brand New Day is going to have Peter gaining organic web shooters, fighting multiple street-level villains, and going up against the Hand. This is a wild departure from a multiversal Sinister Six and teaming up with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. But maybe this is exactly what the character requires. A bit of a retooling.
So you like make your own web fluid in your body?
I'd rather not talk about this.
No, I don't mean
But
to.
are you teasing me?
No. We can't do that. So naturally, we're curious as to how your web situation works.
Sure, everyone loved the Spider-Verse style crossovers in No Way Home, but to me, the best parts were them trying to fix the character and dial him into a status quo that's closer to the Ditko conception of the character. They give him his tragic origin, they strip him of the loving support structure of his friends, and they leave him alone in the city, living in a crappy apartment by himself by the end of the movie. And it looks like there's actual follow-through here in Brand New Day, something that doesn't always happen with the MCU or MCU-adjacent projects. Thor on the Guardians of the Galaxy? Nah. The massive Celestial coming out of the Earth at the end of Eternals? Even just Hulk and Black Widow's romance? Never mentioned again. So the fact that Brand New Day is picking up that narrative thread, giving Peter something that's actually difficult to overcome, and sticking to a character's retooling bodes well for the film. And you can see that commitment on the screen, like visually. Spider-Man is wearing a practical costume, and it looks great. Not only is it the best suit since Amazing Spider-Man 2, but it's also not a grayed-out CGI slopfest. Sure, the movie itself has some of the problems that most big-budget VFX-heavy projects now suffer from, but we can be honest. Spider-Man Homecoming isn't a very good-looking movie. It has many other aspects that are cool, its visual palette isn't one of them, and shooting Spider-Man's eye from inside the mask while he's falling is a really cool visual idea. Side note here, it's also the eye that Moreland rips out in the comic. I think it's his left eye.
Lordy, can you even see in these?
Yes, I can't. Look, I can't.
Ultimately, Brand New Day looks like it's not trying to reinvent the wheel, it's trying to deliver on the premise of what Spider-Man should be. For some people, that might be a dour sign of the times. For me, it's a sigh of relief. These most recent batches of Spider-Man movies aren't Spider-Man stories, they're Jimmy Olsen stories where he wears a Spider-Man mask, and I'm tired of it. I'm so thrilled to be seeing Spider-Man being sad and lonely and forlorn. Does that probably put me in a specific box of fandom? Yeah, probably, but I don't care. Call it a red flag all you want because it's a red and blue spiderweb flag as far as I'm concerned. And well, that's all we have for this episode. What do you think? Is there a chance this movie misses the mark altogether? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, please like, comment, and share for more Nerdstalgic videos just like this.